Remember, the resistance is real. You're not alone, declared Whoopi Goldberg as she wrapped up The View in early 2025. With those 11 simple words, the moderator didn't just end a show. She confirmed what many critics have long suspected. This daytime talk show, supposedly created to showcase different women's perspectives, has morphed into something much more politically one-sided. Would you believe it? 63 liberal guests, 0 conservative voices. This isn't from a political rally, it's the actual guest lineup for political discussions on The View during the first 3 months of 2025, according to a detailed Media Research Center study. For a show whose very name suggests multiple viewpoints, these numbers reveal a glaring contradiction that raises big questions about fair media representation in today's divided America. The Media Research Center's Newsbusters team looked at every single episode of The View from January through early April 2025. What they found was eye-opening. While the show welcomed 63 guests with left-leaning political views, they completely failed to book even one right-leaning guest for political discussions during that entire time. Who made up these 63 left-leaning guests? The breakdown paints a clear picture of the show's political bubble. Democratic politicians showed up, including big names like Senators Elizabeth Warren, Chuck Schumer, and Amy Klobuchar, Governors Gretchen Whitmer and J.B. Pritzker, and other prominent Democrats, 4 former staffers from Democratic presidential teams, including Obama's former team who now host Pod Save America, Jon Favreau, John Lovett, and Tommy Vietor, and Biden's former press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre Parade of Yai. Liberal celebrities from Hollywood, comedy, tech, and media, including John Leguizamo, Ellen Pompeo, Chelsea Handler, Bill Gates, and far-left writer Elie Mystal Nicholas Fondacaro, who led the Newsbusters study, pointed out something obvious but important. Who a program chooses to give a platform to tells you a lot about the nature of the show and what the hosts see as their mission. His conclusion was straightforward. The guest imbalance proved that the cast of The View have an agenda to flood viewers with left-wing political spin. This pattern didn't stop after the study ended. The show's upcoming guests at that time included Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock and progressive NYU professor Scott Galloway, but not a single Republican politician or celebrity with right-leaning politics, according to Fondacaro. The View has typically included at least one conservative voice among its hosts in the past, with previous Republican voices like Elizabeth Hasselbeck, Candace Cameron Bure, and Meghan McCain. Currently, the show features 2 supposedly Republican co-hosts, Ana Navarro and Alyssa Farah Griffin. But critics say these token conservatives hardly balance the show's overall left-wing slant. Navarro, while officially registered as a Republican, is openly progressive and even hosted part of the 2024 Democratic National Convention. Griffin, who once worked in the Trump administration, has become one of his harshest critics and publicly backed Kamala Harris in the 2024 presidential race. In a revealing moment in early 2025, co-host Sarah Haynes admitted something telling shortly. After Trump's inauguration, none of the 6 hosts, including the 2 so-called Republicans, had voted for him. This confession highlighted what critics have argued all along. Despite claiming to present different viewpoints, The View actually offers a remarkably uniform political perspective. As Fondacaro observed, The View, and presumably ABC and Disney, seem perfectly fine with the show not representing the varied views of American voters. Their 2 supposed conservatives often don't seem very different from the 4 liberal co-hosts. Beyond guest selection and host makeup, The View has positioned itself as part of what Whoopi Goldberg herself called the resistance against conservative politics, especially during Trump's time in office. In that notable moment in early 2025, Goldberg ended an episode by declaring, "Remember, the resistance is real. You're not alone," clearly aligning the show with anti-Trump activism. This statement came after hosts had regularly encouraged protests against Trump since his return to office. The show's political positioning is further shown by Goldberg's own words about The View's role in Democratic messaging. During a conversation with sports commentator Stephen A. Smith about how Democrats communicated with voters in 2024, Goldberg defended the show's role in that effort, stating proudly, "Oh yes, it was, here. We did it." In another instance, when talking about the future of Democratic Party leadership, Goldberg aligned herself with Governor Tim Walz's view that the party is us, asking viewers, "What are we prepared to do?" This blurred the line between being a media platform and functioning as a vehicle for Democratic Party messaging. Recent reporting has revealed conflicts within The View about its political content. According to a February 2025 report from Page 6, the show's executive producer, Brian Teta, asked staff to go easy on Trump-related conversations after his inauguration, creating friction with hosts who have been openly critical of the president. This directive came amid layoffs at ABC, with at least 9 workers, including 2 senior female producers, losing their jobs as part of parent company Disney's cost-cutting efforts. Sources reported that morale is low, and staff are worried about more cuts despite the show's strong viewership of nearly 2.6 million total viewers. These internal tensions highlight the complicated relationship between the show's political slant and its business interests, suggesting that even as The View maintains its left-wing perspective, there are pressures to tone down its most outspoken political content. Independent media bias evaluators have consistently rated ABC News, the View's parent organization, as left-leaning. All Sides, an organization that rates media bias, gives ABC News online content a lean left rating with high confidence based on multiple blind surveys, editorial reviews, and community feedback. According to All Sides' August 2024 editorial review, ABC News showed lean left story choice with stories mostly focused on Democrats, and lean left word choice using terms like unhoused people, non-citizens, gender-affirming healthcare, and sex assigned at birth, language typically associated with progressive framing. The Pew Research Center's 2014 study, Where News Audiences Fit on the Political Spectrum, found that roughly 37% of ABC News readers hold political values to the left of center, further supporting the assessment of the network's left-leaning orientation. ABC News has pushed back against claims that The View is politically unbalanced. An ABC News insider told Fox News Digital that the MRC study seems to assign political leanings to guests even when politics weren't discussed. Celebrity guests aren't booked because of their political views. They're invited to promote their projects. The network also noted that its bookers had recently met with Senate press secretaries from both parties, hinting at efforts to diversify political representation on the show. Defenders of The View might argue that the show's political orientation simply reflects mainstream American views, rather than pushing a partisan agenda. However, critics counter that the complete absence of conservative guests discussing politics undermines this claim, as does the host's uniform voting patterns. With nearly 2.6 million viewers, The View remains a powerful platform for political discussion in American media. Its influence stretches beyond its direct audience, as clips and controversies from the show regularly generate headlines and social media buzz. The show's left-wing orientation matters precisely because of this reach and influence. As a major, daytime talk show on a network news platform, The View shapes how many people understand political issues and contributes to the broader media conversation. The data and commentary examined here present a convincing case that despite its name and premise, The View mostly offers just one political perspective, a left-wing orientation reflected in its guest selection, host makeup, and political positioning. The complete absence of right-leaning political guests in early 2025, combined with the host's uniform voting patterns and explicit alignment with the resistance, suggests that the show works less as a forum for diverse viewpoints and more as a platform for progressive political messaging. As Nicholas Fondacaro of Newsbusters observed, The View seems to be more than just a name, but rather a directive that, based on the evidence, appears to be firmly pointed toward the left side of the political spectrum. While ABC News claims the show strives for balance, the hard numbers on guest representation and the host's own statements tell a different story, one of a show that, despite its name, offers viewers primarily just one political view.